Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick. We all just watched West Ham get beat 3-1 away at Liverpool. Started well. I mean, the starting lineup was exactly as we expected. It was the same as we lined up against Man City. So no massive surprises there. No massive surprises there at all. I didn't really expect him to make many changes, so I'm not going to complain about that. And to be honest, the first 10 to 12 minutes, or before they scored anyway, that's probably some of the best football I've seen us play. We were playing higher up the pitch. We proved that we can play a different style. You know, we was playing a slightly higher line. We were pegging Liverpool back, albeit I do think that was also part of Liverpool's game plan. Like I said, I think teams are going to start to respect us a bit more now because we are so lethal on the counter-attack. And I do think that we're going to start seeing teams making it a little bit more difficult for us. So we saw Liverpool being a bit patient. I think that's what we saw. But nonetheless, it was only, well, not poor finishing from Souček, because obviously a great ball in from Paqueta. I think it was Paqueta early on, around about 7 minutes for Souček. Great header, absolutely fantastic save from Alisson. Probably should have put us 1-0 up. And then a minute later, you got Loudmouth Mickey after his podcast saying how he's the man. You know, he's the man. He's going to be. He thinks Liverpool are going to West Ham are going to finish higher than Liverpool. Really sort of running his mouth. He gets a perfect opportunity to back up his big words, and he doesn't do it. He fluffs his lines, which is pretty much a theme of the afternoon for him. And then Aguerd makes his usual mistake. Not long later, what was that? I think about 16 minutes. Completely took the wind out of ourselves. Really, Aguerd, sloppy challenge inside the box on Salah. It was a stonewall penalty, and obviously Salah doesn't miss. So yeah, 1-0 Liverpool. However, in the first half, on the balance of play, I think 1-1 was a fair result. So we went in at half time. I was quite comfortable. I thought, oh, all right, okay. You know, I think we kind of. I didn't feel like we was being outclassed anyway in the first half. So I was quite happy. But the second half, well, I don't think we really competed. Not at all. I don't think we really competed. I think Moyes' in-game management was piss poor in this one. I think he just couldn't see patterns forming that I think the rest of the world could see. And he just kind of waits and sits on his hands. Mickey just almost gave up the ghost after about, I don't know, about 50 minutes, you know, because he was just kind of sort of strolling about. He should have been hooked sooner, if anything. And they just had chance after chance after chance. I mean, they got their second goal. That was, I don't know whether it was a great goal, but I don't know whether it was another mistake or not. I mean, it was a beautiful kind of chipped ball from McAllister, just sort of dinked over our deep block, our low block. Took Zuma and Aguerd completely out of the game. No communication between them two. Nunez had just cut straight across the back of them and directed it in. It was a beautiful, beautiful finish. You know, that's 2-1. And then they wrap it up towards the end with I think it was Diego Jota, 3-1. Now, look, we weren't as regressed as we were against Man City, but Liverpool aren't Man City. I think Liverpool are the type of team that you can afford to go at, as we showed in that first 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? We showed we kind of rattled them. We could have gone 2 up. But no, the second half was a real letdown for me. It was a real letdown. I think Kudus did nothing when he came on, but he's not a striker. We kind of said that already. He was, first of all, he was put on in place of Mickey when he made the changes on 70 minutes, and he brought Fornals and Kudus on for Souček and Antonio. And the weird thing is, you take off those two players and we start whipping balls in the box and there's no one there. which was quite weird. I don't know. But no, I found it a bit of a frustrating watch. And I'm conscious of the fact that it's Liverpool. I'm conscious of the fact that we've had a decent start to the season. But you know what? It's not looking as great now. We're 7 games in. We're dropping down to 7th. You know, we was top of the league for a period. Now we're 8 points off top. We're 8 points off top spot. We're 2 points off 11th, I think. You know, so we've got Sheffield United coming up, which is a massive game. And Sheffield United are better than Luton, who we struggled against. They are. You know, they do set a low block. They're not going to be easy. Not going to be easy at all. They gave Man City a run for their money when they played them, playing the way that we like to play against teams. And we know after TSC, during the week who did the same to us. They moised us. They set a low block against us. We know that we don't do particularly well against teams that do that. So we're going to have to try and unpick and undo Sheffield United, because beyond that, you've got Villa and Newcastle. Now, if we don't beat Sheffield United, what are we going to get out of Villa and Newcastle? Do you know what I mean? You could feasibly be looking at 5 straight losses from the Man City game. So no, look, I don't think that we had a good start. We had a good start to the league. I think everybody's got carried away. Now, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I think we're going to be okay. But I think people that were saying, throw a 4-year contract at the man and everything's great. Look at us, we're amazing. We're top. We're top of the league. We're top 4. We're top 6. Now we're 7th. Do you know what I mean? I think people just needed to sort of calm down a little bit and wait, because the trend of the last 18 months prior kind of tells you that you should just wait, because we haven't been convincing in any game. You could argue that we deserved to beat Brighton, but it wasn't convincing. If Brighton had beaten us, we wouldn't have said that they won against a run of play. They created just as many, if not more, chances than us in that game. Areola got man of the match. Same with Chelsea, who everyone are beating at the moment. Chelsea is shit. But we beat Chelsea. Chelsea scored that penalty before half-time. We're in trouble. We just basically grabbed our chances in that game. Luton we struggled against. Bournemouth, we went 1-0 up and then threw 2 points away and struggled to hold on to 1. Fucking TSC that we played, an absolute dog shit team, let's face it. For the majority of the games, 50, 60 minutes, they was probably the better team. I mean, we had the ball a lot, but they looked more threatening. So, and also, people keep on harping on about how great the low block is and how brilliant we are defensively. No, we're not. We've conceded in every single game. Every game that we've played this year, including against dog shit teams in Europe, or a dog shit team, we've conceded. We are not amazing defensively. We're not at all. And at what point did somebody take the decision in that football club, when we're spending all that money that we were, to think, no, we don't need a striker. We don't need one. We don't need a backup striker. Danny Ings ain't a focal point. Kudus ain't a focal point. We might have one that's sitting on the bench in Mabama, but he ain't going to get fucking used, is he? Let's face it, because he hasn't got the squad seniority thing. So, when you play this way, the way that we play, bearing in mind, I think that we played a little bit more progressive today in terms of our position, not in the second half, but in the first half we did. But when you play the typical way that we play, you need a battering ram. You need a focal point up front. We've got Antonio, who can't play a full game. So you needed another one anyway. So I don't know. Like Ian Carville's just said, Skamaka going and neither striker coming in was criminal. Well, as they're starting to look, I mean, the thing is, what if we do get a couple of injuries now? We've been quite lucky with injuries, and take Paqueta out of that team today, because I'll tell you what, far and away, the best player on that entire pitch, and I would even say he was the best player on the pitch against Man City, was Lucas Paqueta. The man is phenomenal. He's brilliant. His link-up play with Emerson down the left-hand side. His composure on the ball. His vision. I mean, that ball that he played in the second half that was a whisker away from just landing on fucking Bowen's foot. And literally, he plays that ball in an instant as well. He's phenomenal. So you got a player like that. Yeah, I don't know. I was a bit... I thought James Ward-Prowse was very meh today. I don't think he got involved. I think he was chasing shadows. If anything, I think Souček was the better of the central midfielders out the two of them. His set pieces weren't great, and he wasn't really affecting the game. He chased back a couple of times. He tracked back, but there wasn't really much there from him. Soufal, he got another assist, but I don't think the cross was great. I think it was a bit of a shit cross, if I'm honest. I think Bowen just made the best of it. It was a really, really good move, by the way. I didn't mention our goal. So obviously, again, started from Paqueta. He lofts the ball out. Bowen nods it down. Yeah, it was Bowen who nodded it down to Mickey. Mickey plays it out to Souček. To Soufal, who whips in an absolutely beautiful cross. I'm thinking about the Souček cross. Soufal whipped in a very average cross. I'm getting them two mixed up because you had Souček whipping in a beautiful cross. I'm getting me checks combined. And Soufal, our actual goal, it weren't the best cross in the world, but Bowen made the best of it. He made the absolute best of it. But in the second half, I just thought when you consider the performance in the first half, we played really, really well. I just don't think that many players came out in the second half. I don't think they did. Paqueta was good. He was fantastic. But I thought defensively we looked a bit shot. Emerson looked dead towards the end because he had a really solid game, Emerson, but you could see he was out on his feet because Emerson's up and down all game long. And he made a bit of a sloppy mistake at the end. He gave the ball away, but the game was already gone. It was dead by that point. It was 3-1. But no, it's not looking as great now, is it? Let's face it. Now, if we go and beat Sheffield United, then I suppose we'll forget about the last two losses because then that gets us back on the horse. We're on 13 points and we can start looking towards getting something out of either Aston Villa or Newcastle or even possibly both. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, am I being too harsh? Is this another one of those, oh, look, it's Liverpool, you're not expected to beat them. I know they haven't lost since April, but the frustrating thing is, I think sometimes people play the name. And surely David Moyes would have seen in that first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we're capable of taking the game to Liverpool and creating chances and carving them open. We did it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They was pegged back. They were. We were the better team. And then all of a sudden, it's like the brakes get slammed on. And I don't know whether that's by design or whether the players regress naturally or it's under instruction. I don't know. But it was pretty end to end. It was an exciting game of football for a short period. And then it just kind of reverts to type and you just think, why? I mean, it's no coincidence that Moyes has got such a poor away record at these grounds if he's going to have that type of attitude, you know? Why not just every now and then just go for it? Because if we're not expected to beat Liverpool, as many, many people will say, oh, it's Man City. You can't expect a Man City. Oh, it's Liverpool. Blah, 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 blah. You can't say that against every team. They can't be, oh, they're a bogey team. You know, we always lose to them. At some point, you kind of got to stop making excuses. And like I say, the 3 wins that we've got this year could have gone very differently. We were even lucky against Luton. We couldn't have complained if James Ward-Prowse had given that penalty away at the end. So we were even lucky in that game. We have not been convincing. It was an amazing start. It was literally it was, but we had an awful lot of fortune as well. So I don't know. I don't really know what to think. I'm going to talk to Gary about it later. We got our Talk Hammer show tonight. So please feel free to phone us up and give us your thoughts. But no, I just Liverpool are not great. They're a great team. Don't misunderstand. But what I mean is, they're not prime Barcelona. They're not prime Man City. You saw what we did to them in the first 10, 15 minutes. You saw what Wolves did to them in the first half. Mickey was right in the podcast, what he said there. You saw what they did to them in the first half. They're not unbeatable. You can get at them. You can. And sometimes you've got to make your luck. You've got to. Whereas when you look at the games that we've won, like against Brighton, it felt like every time we got a chance, it was a goal. Bang, goal. Bang, goal. We're not creating much, but we was clinical. So that was great. But typically, West Ham are not clinical. We don't convert all our chances. So for us to get a good turnover, players like Mickey and players like, Bowen's getting better, but they're not the most clinical. So we do need to create a higher volume of chances than maybe Liverpool do for us to actually get anything out of a game. Because we haven't got the world-class forward. We haven't got the player that just needs one chance to get a goal every game. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just a bit frustrated after watching that. I am. I was watching both games. I was watching the dogshit derby as well on me phone while that was on the screen. That was a good game. That was end-to-end. From what I could see, I think Tottenham looked better than Arsenal. I think Arsenal got away with one now. But no, I don't really know. I don't really know what to make of that game. Obviously, we're going to rate the players later on. But what we're going to do against Sheffield United? Are we going to set up in exactly the same way? Are we? Is there not going to be any changes? Is it going to be Suchik in there again? And Paqueta, as good as Paqueta is, he ain't a left winger. He's our best player. He needs to be in the middle of the fucking park, controlling everything. That's where he needs to be. If you're going to shoehorn anyone out, then I'm not going to be funny. Put James Ward-Prowse out on the left-hand side. He's still on the pitch then for set pieces. He's played out on the left before. He has done. but put James Ward-Prowse in the middle so that he can orchestrate everything. I'll tell you what, defensively, he's one of the better players as well. I lost count of the times that the amount of ball recoveries and interceptions that he makes, Paqueta. So stick him in the middle. He's wasted out on the left. That's what I think. I hope we see something different against Sheffield United, because if we don't, if we lose, and then that's 3 games on the bounce, 3 losses on the bounce, and then we've got Aston Villa and Newcastle, and they're not easy fucking games. They're good teams, legit good teams, you know. But yeah, Johnny Tibbs says 6 Ian Ange at the Spuds, mate. It's horrendous. It's horrendous. It really is. I don't know why that's gone so small. Stupid software this is. What we got here? So Damien says, totally agree. Paqueta is not a left midfielder. No, he's not, mate. He's far from it. He's far from a left midfielder. But look, that was it from me. I just done a very, very quick review because we are back later on. I couldn't be asked doing a pre-record and then uploading it and doing all that bollocks. So I thought I'd jump on live. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and come back later on. We do a phone-in show. So you can phone in and have your say as well. And we'll be doing the player ratings later. Any donkeys? Any donkeys? We'll have to find out. All right. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon. Come on, you eyes.